From the outside, the Sigma female seems to have it all figured out. She's confident, independent, and doesn't rely on anyone for approval. She walks her own path and doesn't chase popularity or attention. But what most people don't see is that this strength often comes with hidden struggles. The same traits that make her powerful also make her journey more difficult. The Sigma female lives differently from most. She values freedom, peace, and truth above everything else. She avoids drama and prefers to stay out of social hierarchies. But that independence isolates her more than people realize. She carries the weight of her choices quietly, without asking for help or sympathy. While others find comfort in groups or validation from friends, she depends only on herself. It's admirable, but it's also exhausting. This video explores why the Sigma female secretly has it harder than most people think. These challenges don't make her weak, they make her human. They explain why, even though she seems calm and in control, she often faces battles no one else notices. If you've ever felt misunderstood because of your strength or independence, you'll recognize yourself in these reasons. Let's start with the first one, where the Sigma female's greatest strength becomes her heaviest burden. Reason number 1. Her independence means she often carries the load alone. The Sigma female's independence is her pride. She doesn't like to depend on others, not because she thinks she's better, but because she's learned that people often disappoint. She trusts herself more than anyone else. When life gets hard, she doesn't reach out for help. She handles it quietly. She believes that asking for help is a last resort, and she rarely lets anyone see her struggle. But over time, that strength becomes isolation. While others have support systems, she's busy being her own. She takes care of everything: her work, her emotions, her plans, and her problems. She becomes so reliable that people stop checking on her. They assume she doesn't need help because she never asks for it. Inside, though, it's a different story. There are moments when she feels overwhelmed and tired, but she pushes through anyway. She doesn't want to burden others, so she carries the emotional weight herself. This constant self-reliance takes a toll. It makes her strong, but it also makes her lonely. The Sigma female learns that independence, while powerful, can turn into pressure. No one sees how much effort it takes to stay balanced, to stay composed, and to keep moving forward when she's exhausted. People admire her resilience, but few understand the cost. Her independence doesn't come from comfort, it comes from survival. And that's what makes it harder. While others share their struggles, she bears hers in silence. Strength becomes a habit, but also a burden she can never completely set down. Reason number 2. Her choice to operate outside the hierarchy can lead to isolation. The Sigma female doesn't play by the usual social rules. She doesn't chase status or compete for attention. She's not trying to be the alpha or the follower. She stands apart, doing things her way. That's what makes her unique, but it's also what sets her apart from almost everyone else. She often feels like an outsider, not because she's unfriendly, but because she doesn't fit into the usual patterns of connection. She doesn't like fake small talk or forced friendships. She avoids gossip, competition, and meaningless gatherings. While others bond through social games, she steps back. She chooses solitude over shallow company. But standing apart comes with a price. People don't always understand her distance. They see her as detached, cold, or uninterested. Some even misread her confidence as arrogance. The truth is, she just values authenticity, and that's rare. In workplaces or social groups, her independence can make her an easy target for misunderstanding. She doesn't flatter or pretend to belong, so others might see her as a threat or an outsider. That means she often ends up walking her own path alone, even when she doesn't want to. The Sigma female's world can feel small, not because she lacks options, but because she refuses to compromise who she is just to fit in. She values genuine connection over popularity, depth over attention. But that choice also leaves her standing alone in a crowd. Operating outside the hierarchy gives her freedom, but it also gives her isolation. She's respected, but not always included. She's admired, but rarely understood. That silent distance is part of what makes her life harder than it appears. Reason number 3, her high standards leave little room for mistakes, including her own. The Sigma female expects a lot from herself. She's not driven by comparison, she's driven by personal excellence. When she commits to something, she gives it her full effort. She doesn't settle for average work, shallow relationships, or empty goals. But the same discipline that makes her capable also makes her critical of herself. She holds herself to standards that most people couldn't meet. When she succeeds, she doesn't celebrate for long. She's already thinking about how she could have done better. When she fails, even slightly, she takes it personally. Her perfectionism doesn't come from ego, it comes from a deep desire to stay in control. The Sigma female doesn't want to disappoint anyone, especially herself. So she works harder, pushes longer, and forgives herself slower. This pressure builds quietly over time. From the outside, she looks composed and accomplished. Inside, she's often restless and unsatisfied. Her standards also extend to how she views others. She values honesty, effort, and consistency. When people don't meet those values, she struggles to stay close to them. It's not arrogance, it's integrity. But it often leaves her feeling like there's no one who truly matches her energy. This constant striving for perfection can make life heavier. She achieves a lot, but peace of mind is harder to find. The Sigma female eventually learns that high standards are powerful, but only if they don't become cages. Reason number 4, her need for solitude can be misread as aloofness or detachment. The Sigma female needs quiet time the way others need social time. Solitude gives her balance. It's where she thinks clearly, regains energy, and reconnects with herself. But to people who don't understand her, that solitude looks like distance. Friends may think she's avoiding them. Co-workers might believe she's unfriendly or uninterested. Even partners sometimes take her need for space as rejection. What they don't see is that being alone isn't about pushing people away, it's about recharging. This misunderstanding can cause emotional friction. The Sigma female ends up having to explain why she disappears for days or why she doesn't respond right away. But it's not personal, it's preservation. Constant interaction drains her. Silence restores her. Still, the cost of being misunderstood is real. People pull back. Invitations stop coming. She notices the distance but refuses to fake energy she doesn't have. She'd rather be authentic and alone than social and exhausted. Over time, she learns to communicate her need for solitude more clearly. The people who truly know her begin to understand that her quietness isn't coldness, it's care. She protects her peace so she can give her best self when she returns. But until others see that, her solitude often feels like both a blessing and a barrier. Reason number 5. Her quiet confidence may make her feel unseen or undervalued in a loud world. The Sigma female doesn't seek attention. She doesn't announce her achievements or demand credit. She believes her work, actions, and energy speak for themselves. In a perfect world, that would be enough, but in reality, louder voices often get noticed first. She's confident without being showy, but that subtlety can make her invisible in environments where self-promotion is rewarded. People mistake her calmness for passivity, not realizing it takes strength to stay composed. At work, she might be the one who keeps projects together while others take credit. In relationships, her steady loyalty might go unappreciated because she's not dramatic or demanding. The world often notices the noise, not the substance, and that can leave her feeling unseen. This quiet struggle builds frustration. She knows her worth, but she also sees how much recognition goes to those who shout louder. The Sigma female isn't jealous. She's simply aware of how the world overlooks quiet excellence. Still, she doesn't change her nature. She stays consistent, grounded, and authentic. Recognition might come late, but it comes stronger. Because when people finally see her, they realize she's been the foundation all along. Her challenge isn't lack of confidence, it's existing in a world that doesn't value calm power until it's gone. Reason number 6. Her reluctance to seek validation means she misses support. That was there. The Sigma female rarely asks for approval. She doesn't look for validation, praise, or reassurance. Her sense of worth comes from within. While that sounds empowering, it also creates an unseen challenge. When she doesn't show that she needs support, people assume she doesn't. She often goes through difficult moments silently. She doesn't broadcast her struggles or ask for help because she doesn't want to seem weak or dependent. She believes she can handle anything alone, and most of the time she can. But even the strongest people need care, and by not showing that, she unintentionally isolates herself. Friends and coworkers might admire her strength, but never think to ask if she's okay. They assume she's always fine. She becomes the helper, the steady one, the one others lean on, but rarely the one anyone checks on. Over time, that pattern takes a toll. The Sigma female starts to feel invisible, not because people don't care, but because she never lets them see her vulnerability. She learns, slowly and often painfully, that strength doesn't mean hiding her needs. When she finally allows herself to receive a kind word, a helping hand, or simple understanding, she realizes that support doesn't weaken her. It connects her. It reminds her that even independent women need community. That realization doesn't come easily, but once it does, it changes how she views connection forever. Reason number 7. Her relational expectations are deep, but that means fewer people qualify. The Sigma female values relationships built on loyalty, honesty, and depth. She's not interested in surface-level friendships or casual attention. When she connects with someone, it's because she sees meaning in it. But her standards for connection are high, and that makes her relationships rare. She doesn't waste time with people who gossip or play games. She wants genuine connection, not convenience. But in a world where shallow interaction is common, she finds that few people meet her level of depth. This leaves her circle small, sometimes very small. She doesn't mind being alone, but she does crave understanding. She wants people who can listen, think, and grow with her. When she can't find that, she withdraws. Because of this, others may see her as distant or selective. The truth is, she simply doesn't have energy for relationships that don't feel real. Her emotional investment runs deep, so when she gives it, she gives everything. The difficulty comes when people don't match that same intensity. She ends up giving loyalty and depth to those who can't return it fully. Over time, she learns to accept that not everyone is meant to meet her where she stands. She keeps her standards, but she also learns to appreciate smaller connections for what they are. Still, her heart always seeks that rare kind of relationship where mutual respect and honesty exist without pretense. The kind she knows is worth waiting for, no matter how long it takes. Reason number 8. Her doing things her own way means she faces resistance from systems designed for others. The Sigma female doesn't fit into traditional molds. She does things her way, guided by instinct and principle. She doesn't follow trends or bend to rules that don't make sense to her. This independence helps her succeed, but it also puts her at odds with systems built for conformity. In workplaces, she may challenge norms or question authority. In relationships, she might reject expectations about how she should act. She doesn't seek conflict, she just refuses to pretend. But standing apart often makes her a target for criticism. People who follow the rules comfortably may see her as rebellious or difficult. Her approach isn't about rebellion, it's about authenticity. She knows there's no single right way to live. Yet living by her own design means constantly explaining herself to others. She spends energy justifying her choices to people who will never understand them. This can be exhausting. She's often told to just go along or be easier. But that's not who she is. The Sigma female learns that authenticity sometimes costs comfort. She'll face resistance not because she's wrong, but because she's rare. Despite the friction, she never compromises her identity. Over time, her persistence earns quiet respect. People might not agree with her, but they recognize her courage. The Sigma female's way is not the easiest, but it's the most honest. And while it isolates her at times, it also gives her a kind of freedom that few ever experience. Reason number 9, her growth mindset means she's never fully finished, which can feel exhausting. The Sigma female constantly pushes herself to improve. She's not content with staying the same. She's always learning, evolving, and questioning how she can be better, in work, relationships, and within herself. This mindset gives her strength, but it also brings endless pressure. She rarely allows herself to rest. Even when she achieves something, she's already thinking about what's next. She doesn't celebrate her wins for long, because deep down, she feels there's always more to do. Growth becomes her default mode, and while that keeps her sharp, it can also make her tired. People often praise her ambition, but they don't see how heavy it feels. She holds herself to high emotional and intellectual standards, constantly checking if she's doing enough. This creates quiet fatigue, the kind that doesn't show on her face but weighs on her heart. She also outgrows people and environments faster than most. The things that once satisfied her start to feel small. That means she's often rebuilding. New goals, new circles, new versions of herself. It's empowering, but it's also lonely. Eventually, the Sigma female learns that growth doesn't always mean movement. Sometimes growth means being still, resting, and appreciating how far she's come. It takes her a long time to see that balance is as important as evolution. She learns that even those who never stop improving deserve to pause, not because they're finished, but because they've earned peace. Reason number 10. Her value doesn't always match her visibility. So she works hard without always getting the rewards. The Sigma female rarely gets the recognition she deserves. She does the work quietly, consistently, and with integrity. She doesn't ask for attention, she focuses on results. But in a world that often rewards visibility over value, her efforts can go unnoticed. She's the one behind the scenes holding things together, the dependable presence, the quiet leader, the thinker who makes things happen without needing credit. And because she never complains, people assume she doesn't need acknowledgement. The truth is, she does appreciate recognition. She just won't beg for it. Over time, this pattern wears on her. She sees others rewarded for being louder or flashier, while her quiet excellence is taken for granted. It's not jealousy that she feels, it's fatigue. She knows her worth, but she also knows how often it's overlooked. The Sigma female learns that the world doesn't always reward substance right away. But she keeps her integrity anyway. She understands that real value isn't always visible, and real impact doesn't need validation to be meaningful. Still, it's one of her hardest truths. Doing things right doesn't always bring recognition. Yet she continues, not because people notice, but because it's who she is. Her strength is in knowing her worth even when no one else does. In the end, her reward isn't applause. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing she stayed true to herself in a world that tried to pull her in every direction. Being a Sigma female isn't just about strength. It's about carrying the weight that comes with it. Her independence, her depth, and her resilience make her powerful, but they also make her journey heavier than most. The world sees her calm and her control, but not the effort it takes to maintain them. She has it harder because she refuses to settle. She won't pretend to fit in or accept less than what feels real. That choice isolates her at times, but it also defines her. Each challenge she faces sharpens her sense of purpose, teaching her that true power doesn't come from ease, it comes from endurance. If you recognize yourself in these struggles, remember this: the fact that your path is harder doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're walking a road that few have the strength to take. Your quiet battles don't go unseen. They're shaping you into someone unbreakable, wise, and deeply authentic. So keep walking. Keep trusting your pace. And never forget, even if the world doesn't always see it, your strength is real, your worth is constant, and your challenges are proof of just how powerful you really are.